Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Blue Staple podcast. I'm yours truly, Marcus. We are here to discuss the Week 6 preview of the Arizona Cardinals heading into Indianapolis, taking on the Indianapolis Colts. This should be an interesting game. It's going to be a fun one for sure. And it's not one of those walk in the parks that you expect, of course, due to the situations at hand. Might be a potential backup quarterback scenario for the Arizona Cardinals, which could potentially put the Colts off guard due to not fully preparing for them during the week. So it's going to be interesting to see what that looks like. But before we get into it, appreciate you guys for following us on all the platforms. Continue to do so. We are located everywhere. Just look up the Blue Staple Podcast, and you'll find us. It's just quite that simple. I'm alone this week, but it is all right. They are still here with me, Landon and Coach Film Room. It is all good. I'm going to hold it down until those guys come back. But let's go ahead and hop into this preview. So we're going to be discussing this matchup, Week 6, which is the Arizona Cardinals versus the Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis Colts is still undefeated at home. They have a good win streak right now. They are hitting on all cylinders. They found some key replacements due to injuries, and they are still rocking and rolling. And of course, they just lost Spencer Strider last week, but they got Michael Bagley in there immediately. So it's going to be interesting. And they are in speculations of picking up another person. No, the rumors are out there. They're looking for an edge rush. We don't know who it may be. A lot of Colts fans are speculating Max Crosby or Trey Hendrickson. I'm leaning towards the Trey Hendrickson rumor just due to him and Lou Anarumo's familiarity and past history of working together. So besides all of that, we got a game at hand. The Indianapolis Colts got a big test, and I mentioned how however they continue to win, they're going to have a huge target on their back each and every week. So they're going to have to bring it. They're going to have to up their game, and they've been playing better each week, which is a good thing to see. So let's see, how the balance may look between the offense and defense if they can be more consistent and keep the flow going. They're playing good football on both sides, man. But for sure, the offense is going to be my side that I say that impressed me the most. It's going to be an interesting game. Looking at the Arizona Cardinals going into this game for the offense, for their side, they're a little run heavy, ball control for sure, definitely tempo. It's got to be, at their pace in order if they want to be competitive. The offensive side for the Cardinals has not all been there, especially with the whole Marvin Harrison Jr. situation, him not finding his rhythm. He's currently found his rhythm now. So he found it at a good time because it's going to be interesting to see how he matches up with Ward going into this week. So that's going to be a huge test. And depending on the quarterback situation, which might be Jacoby Brissett, it's going to be an interesting test because we know Jacoby Brissett more than anybody else. I used to call him play action guru back in the day, so it's going to be interesting to see how he comes into this game against the Indianapolis Colts. But this is not the same Indianapolis Colts team he played for. This team is a little bit more aggressive, and they like to fly around, especially with Lou Anarumo at the helm, at the coordinator position. It's going to be interesting to see how tested Jacoby Brissett's going to be with that banged-up offensive line for the Arizona Cardinals. It's going to be a huge matchup for them. So it's going to be interesting to see how they look on the pass blocking scenario. Run blocking is definitely something, a cup of tea that they might go for, just due to having a personnel package with the multiple tight ends and things like that. I'm looking for them to definitely have more of a run game direction for this type of matchup. Now, of course, the Colts might force them to throw the football, and that's going to be good. But you can't really take everything for granted. I'm pretty sure they can dot up a few things. They do have some nice targets on that side of the ball for the offense. It's going to be interesting to see how Marvin Harrison Jr. comes out this game. Of course, they got McBride and those guys. So it's definitely a lot of heavy personnel, a lot of tight end sets. And even with the motion, they do a lot of motions as well on the offensive side with those players moving around. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do, but it just hasn't been consistent. That's one of the biggest things for the Arizona Cardinals offense. They just haven't been consistent. The strongest suit of their team is the defensive side, in my opinion. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come out with this matchup for the defense for the Arizona Cardinals. More of a 3-4 set. They do have a lot of packages that they have working out. They have a nice defensive line with sweating those guys out there. So it's going to be interesting to see how they look with the safety group and matching up against Daniel Jones, who's been on fire so far, been playing a lot of good football. But like I said, it hasn't been easy for him. He's definitely been battle tested, but he's been weathering the storm each and every week, which is a good thing to see. So another test this week, another good defensive line that's going to go out there and send a lot of pressure. But with the pressure being sent, that do send that secondary, which I think is the weak spot on that defense. It's going to be interesting to see how much pressure they put on them. If they can go get the quarterback, they got to stay very, very close on these targets for the Indianapolis Colts. They got a lot of weapons on this side of the ball, man. It's going to be an interesting matchup. So the defensive line is definitely the strong suit for the Arizona Cardinals. The secondary, they do lack a little bit. But, they still got some talent out there in the secondary as well, so you can't really discredit them. Records don't say a lot. Each and every week is just a different day, a different game. So, they can come in and bring it at all, probably force some turnovers and things of that nature. But it's going to be interesting to see how they do. But their defense is definitely really reliable on the run defense. I will say that's their strong suit. Going to be interesting to see what type of packages they bring towards Jonathan Taylor and that offensive line. The offensive line's been stellar with the pass blocking. I do always mention how the run blocking has been very suspect for the Colts, but the design-wise and scheme-wise has been improving every week. So I got to give credit where credit is due. It's going to be interesting to see how those run lanes open up this week against the Arizona Cardinals, because it's not going to be a walk in the park. This is a very physical team we're going up against. So it's going to be interesting to see how Jonathan Taylor can prepare himself and how he can get off, and how Shane Steichen can draw up a good game plan to try to balance out Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor against this Arizona Cardinals defense. But that's definitely their priority, being disruptive and pretty much closing up those run lanes. So the Colts run protection is definitely going to have to be on their P's and Q's this week. But honestly, if that do happen to come down to Daniel Jones forcing to throw the ball, he has been pretty good at getting the ball out of his hands, and the Cardinals have been struggling on third downs if anything happens. With Daniel Jones being at the quarterback position, he's been pretty successful on third down and even finding Josh Downs missed the first down. So it's going to be interesting to see how this team matches up, man. It's definitely something that is very unpredictable. This is one of the most unpredictable matchups this year, in my opinion, between the Arizona Cardinals. Just besides the record, you never want to go into a week going up against a backup, because it could be a trap game. It could physically be a trap game. If they come out there, force a lot of pressure, be disruptive on defense, and, they stay out there on the field most of the time, this Colts team could definitely lose their rhythm. So they got to play their pace of football, find their stride, and go out there and definitely play some good football. So, like I said, the Cardinals' pass coverage is the hugest concern, but their run defense is something that they've really been good at. So it's going to be interesting to see how they match up with that scenario. But other than that, the trenches is something to look at. Play action is definitely probably going to be something we see a lot this week. We've seen it in the Titans game, the play action boot with Daniel Jones on the move, finding his targets. He is pretty good being mobile and throwing on the run, but you don't want that to be, relied on, because it takes a lot of energy. So it's going to be interesting to see how Daniel Jones plays into this game. If he can keep his rhythm going, he's definitely going to be my player to watch this week. Last week I had Warren, Josh Downs, and Jonathan Taylor, but this week it's going to be Daniel Jones. I feel like Daniel Jones is going to actually have to play real quarterback. He has been playing quarterback all year, but I think this is the game he's really going to have to step up and will this offense into, getting in victory formation. Because, Jonathan Taylor is going to be that guy. But like I said, this run defense is no joke. That's their strong suit on the defensive side. So Daniel Jones is going to have to wheel and deal. He's going to have some. He's going to put the ball in the air. He's going to get the end zone. He's going to have some throwing touchdowns. He can find his targets with ease. Getting into the end zone, that's another conversation to have. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out, with the matchups between our, wide receivers and tight ends against their secondary. It's going to be interesting. Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman Jr., what A.D. Mitchell's reps going to look like this week. He was limited last week due to that scenario the week before. But, he got to earn his reps back after that situation. He's young. I'm pretty sure he's going to figure it out, lock in due time. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out for him in his favor. Josh Downs had a good week last week. Alec Pierce looked like he's on his way to return. How does that affect Josh Downs' reps? All of these things, there's a lot of targets on this offensive side for the Colts. It's just a part of managing the football and the reps and getting the ball around. There's a lot of people out there, even Ashton Doolin. I know he turned a few heads, going out there and playing receiver again. He's really good on special teams, but a lot of people forget how good his hands are and, going out there and playing football as wide receiver, man. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. I have the injury report for you guys for both sides. Kyler Murray, of course, for the Cardinals. You got Darius Robinson out there. He's listed as questionable. Max Melton's out there. He's questionable. Evan Brown's out there. He's questionable with the hamstring. You got Tip Ryman. He's tight end. He's out for the season, of course. Then you got Justin Jones, who's out on injured reserve. B.J. Uluwari, he's out there. He's not available. Walter Nolan is on the PUP list. James Conner's out for the season. Then you got Joey Blount out for the season for the Cardinals. And then for the Colts, of course, Kenny Moore, he's out, not available. You got Alec Pierce, who practiced, which is good. Tyquan Lewis returned to practice. We missing Spencer Schrader, so we got Michael Bagley. Gonsalves is out. He looked like he might not be available this week, but it's interesting to see what that might look like moving forward. With the offensive line, a huge miss if he's not available. And then DeForest Buckner, of course, who's always on the list. Doesn't really need to practice, but he's still battling that injury with his back. So with those things being said, I still do have the Colts having the upper edge in this game with the home field advantage and things of that nature. They've just been playing really good football as of late. Consistency is key. Just play their tempo. Dave Jones has to will and deal, be the guy. That's my go-to guy for the offensive side. Players to watch for the Colts. I got Daniel Jones. And then for the defensive side, I'm going to go with Zaire Franklin. I think Zaire Franklin's going to be the guy for the defensive side. That's going to probably have himself a big game. We just got Jermaine Pratt as a weak side linebacker, so I'm pretty sure that's going to help him out a ton. And Zaire's been playing really good football as of late, so this could be a huge game for him, in my opinion. So be on the lookout for that. That's going to be really interesting to see how Pratt goes into this defense and how much of a boost he may be for that situation. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section, your score predictions, who you got winning. If you're a Cardinals fan or a Colts fan, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Follow us on all platforms, The Blue Stable. Check out the website for articles as well. And until next time, we will be back to talk about the game. And you guys stay tuned. You guys have a good weekend. Stay safe. Go Colts. And we'll see you later.